Well, hello, everybody. Welcome and happy Wednesday. Welcome to your community transformation through acquisition driven instruction. We are on the last weeks of school. As I am speaking, I am on my last week of school altogether. I know Lisa's been out for a week now. And then I know that a lot of people are gonna be out in the next couple of weeks, up to the next 4 weeks. So it's all good. We are totally with you in solidarity, waiting for you to have your last week of school as
Yeah.
well. So what a perfect time to have this conversation with Lisa. And before we jump in, I just want to say hello to everybody that's joining. Please let us know. Say hello in the chat so that we know who's tuning in tonight. Where are you tuning in from? And I am Berta Delgadillo, and I am the host for this community. And I am a high school teacher, and I am here with my friend Lisa, who is an organization guru expert. Like you, I have so much to learn from her. You have so much to learn from her. If organization is not your strength, and I am super, super happy that she's here because she has a lot of tips to share with us. And check this out. The tips she's going to share with us are the tips that are perfect for me because for some reason, my admins decided to load up my post planning week. Like literally, they're only giving me an hour and a half per day to actually clean my classrooms. So I don't know. Maybe you can relate, but absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Lisa so she can tell us about how to get organized. What are some things we can do if you are like me and you have just a little bit of time to get your classroom prep for next year? And maybe you're thinking, Berta, I am exhausted. You got to be kidding me. I don't have anything else left in me. Trust me, my friend. I am there with you, believe it or not, because even though I have not been with students this week, you don't want to know the drama that's been going on at my school. So, but as a professional, I have a little bit of a bandwidth left in me, but there are things we can do to get ourselves situated for next year that your future August or end of July self will say, thank you so much for doing that. So, Lisa, I hand it over to you.
All right, I'm gonna try and share my screen. Okay, great. Thanks for the tips, StreamYard. Let's see. I want to share this one. It's gonna get a little inception-y for a minute. And okay, I think Bertha, you're gonna have to let me know if that looks good.
Oh, that looks amazing. Yes.
Okay, like we're good. Okay, I just kind of like lost all the things. Like, okay, good. Now I can see comments too. Okay, good. Now I can see what's going on. All right. As Bertha said, like, it's the end of the year. We are tired. Teachers are tired at this time of year regardless, but this year it's like a whole nother level of tired we didn't even know existed. So tonight, I'm not going to overwhelm you. We're going to go really simple organizing strategies that are going to save you time and energy in the long run. And if we haven't met, I'm Lisa. I teach at a one-to-one school in Nebraska. I teach high school Spanish. This year I'm teaching Spanish, or I taught Spanish 3 and 4. And I, over the last couple of years, have really discovered that I just love helping teachers become more efficient with their files by showing them how to keep them organized so that they can take all the time and energy they were spending, like dealing with their files, doing what they actually love to do, like in the classroom and outside of the classroom, because like we're real people, right? We have lives outside of the classroom. So first of all, I love this stock image, and I got these slides from Slides Mania, which if you don't know Slides Mania, like go Google that. It's amazing. But this stock image was already in there, and like I already know this image, like I've used it. It might even be on my website right now, but I just laughed when I saw it. I was like, okay, this was meant to be. And so my question is this you? Like when you sit down and you're at your computer, you're gonna try and pull up a file, something that you need, or you're trying to find something, you're just like, oh, where is it? Like if your files make you feel like this gal looks, I am going to help you. Because really, it comes down to if your files, if they're not easy to use, if they don't serve you on some level, they are stealing energy from you, which
Ugh.
is ridiculous because teaching, the root of everything that I really believe with files and organization is teaching is hard enough. Like Google Drive or your desktop or whatever, wherever you keep your files, that should not be adding to that stress. And Bertha and I talked on Instagram last night a little bit about how it's like, oh, it's not a big deal. Like, it's just my files, it's fine. But really, it is. It's like kind of stuff that like weighs you down a little bit. And I have a blog post called what does your Google Drive have to do with ducks? And I equate like unorganized files, it's like getting pecked to death by a duck. Like if a duck pecks you, I mean, it kind of hurts, it's like not a big deal. But when it happens over and over and over and over, it's like the slow, painful process, you know, to eventually be pecked to death by a duck. Your files and these little headaches and these, you know, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 2 minutes here that you're losing is so much time and energy you could spend doing things that light you up and bring you joy and not like dealing with files, because nobody wants to do that. So tonight, I guess it's probably like afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Today, we're going to talk about, I'm going to keep it really simple. I'm going to talk about deleting files, consolidating files, and what to prep for next year. And yes, I'm going to talk about email because I get asked about email all the time. So we'll talk about that as well. And these are just kind of like the first steps I take at the end of every year. Like this is what I do at the end of every year. Honestly, a little more often than that, but for the end of the year, it's a good thing to do. So let's talk about deleting files. I'm a minimalist. I love to get rid of stuff. I love to delete files. Like I don't need 6 copies of something. I don't need 3 things that'll do the same thing. I just need like one really good resource. That's kind of where I come from. And as teachers, that's really hard for us. And it took me a while to get there. We're sort of a more is more. We like to hoard files. So let's talk about what to delete. These are the easy things, okay? These are, even if you're afraid to delete files, these are kind of the easy ones. These are really good jumping off points to kind of build some momentum to then tackle those more difficult ones. So the first thing is big files. And let me know in the comments if you're watching this live, if you use like Google Drive or Microsoft OneDrive. I'm a Dropbox fan. Maybe you just use like your computer hard drive because you like to live on the wild side. And so you just store them on your hard drive and don't back them up in the cloud. But let me know kind of where do you save your files. In Google Drive, it is really easy to find your big files. I'll tell you how quickly, but then I also have a reel over on Instagram that shows you in like 15 seconds. But up at the top of your Google Drive, you'll see that gear icon in the top right. Click on that. You click settings and this new window will pop up. And then the very first thing in that window, it says like your storage. And there's a link that says show files taking up storage space, or like show large files taking up storage space. And when you click that, it sorts your entire Google Drive by file size. And if you have never done that, let me tell you, you are gonna find some stuff. The first time that I did that, I found a bunch of student video projects. They were about 4 years old at that point. These kids had graduated. It was a project I don't even do anymore. Like I saw these videos, I was like, what is that? I was like, oh, is that Colby? I'm like, he's been gone for years. Like not just out of my class, but graduated. And then I looked at the project and I was like, oh, that was not a good project. Like, or really, was not my finest moment. Yeah, I had about 18 videos, I think, of that project that kids had shared with me. Yes, Jessica's saying, hey, can I do that one more time? I'll tell you, when this is over, I will post a link to that reel for you. And I'll post it kind of in the comments here, and so you can find it. But basically, Google Drive, click that gear icon up in the top right, and then click on settings. And it's the first section there. Like the very first section, you'll see the link that says like show files taking up space. And you will find some stuff. It's usually video files because they're huge. but you're just like, oh man, and a lot of them you don't need. So this one, it really will find some old stuff for you. And it's really going to clear up storage space if that's an issue for you as well. But it gets rid of a lot of stuff. And the first time you do it, it's like, wow. And I did it not too long ago. And I found something that I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I still need that or not. So I'm kind of waffling back and forth. But big files are a great place to start because it's like, boom, so sad. Oh, also, if you do this, take a screenshot of your Google Drive down the bottom. You know, it tells you like how much storage you've used, or maybe it tells you how much storage you have left. I have 7 Google Drives, true story. I have 7 of them. But if in some, they show me different ways.
I have 3.
See, well, yeah, Bertha's got there. I have 7. I don't use all 7, but I have 7. But take a screenshot, delete your big files. Then you have to go to the trash folder and delete them. And then like just see how much your like storage you have freed up. It's really satisfying to do that. The second thing that's really easy to get rid of, that's like not hard to delete, I don't think, is files you haven't opened for a really long time. So in Google Drive, across the top, you can sort stuff. It'll tell you like name, I think it tells you the file size, and then you have options. You can look at them by, I think, date created, date modified by me, or date last modified by me, and date last opened by me. So if you click on that and you choose date last opened by me, again, if you have never done this, you're gonna find stuff you have not opened for years. Like again, first time I did this, haven't opened that file in 4 years, probably don't need that anymore. Like if I haven't missed it for the last 4 years, do I really need it? Probably not. Goodbye. On the flip side, there was some stuff I thought I was like, oh gosh, I forgot about that. Like that was really, really good. Oh, thank you, Bertha. She found that reel, and thank you so much. Oh no, is this the one that's like the 4 types of files to delete? That's what you shared, I think. Yeah, that one's got 4 types of files to delete. You got to dig way deeper in the reels for the other one. I'll find it though. Okay, so if you haven't used it in 4 years, probably don't need it. But here's the one thing you got to be careful about with this, because if you look at it, you're like, oh, what is that? And you click on it to open it. Now that date last opened is the present moment, and it's gonna like disappear to the bottom of the list for you. So then you kind of you have to go find it. But a lot of times you find things, not only have you not modified it, like made changes to the file, maybe like updated it or something, you haven't even opened that file in years. Like you can get rid of that. Goodbye. Let's see. I got 4 of them on here. Oh, copy of. Yeah, if you use Google Drive, just go to the search bar and search copy of. And I will force students to make a copy of stuff. And like a good teacher, I always demonstrate in class. I pull up the Canvas assignment, say, click this link, and then, do it. Well, what happens? I end up with 3 copies of the file that says like copy of Las Sombras, chapter 7, 1-pager. And I'm like, yeah, I have 3 of those from demoing it in class. So you'll find a lot of duplicates. My admin likes to force us to make copies of like all the schedules we need for those like weird random days. So I have all sorts of stuff that's like copy of assembly schedule, March 3rd. Like, okay, I don't need that anymore. Bye. Or like lunch duty from the end of first semester. Like I don't need that. So I will find a lot of stuff like that. You might also find things from students, and you can get pretty advanced with Google search. You can search copy of and whittle it down to like owned by me, or you can have like owned by somebody else. If you do owned by somebody else, that's a really good way you'll find like student files. And those are technically in your shared with me folder. Your shared with me folder, not really your files. You can't really organize those a lot, and that drives me bananas. I hate the shared with me folder, like files shared with me, because I can't like organize it how I want to.
I was just talking to my friend Sarah, who is listening right now.
Yeah, Senora Downey, I saw her. Yeah, go ahead and pop in.
She was talking about how in our school, we have been made part of this shared drive.
Drives, yes.
We get stuff for math, social studies, and stuff like that. And when somebody opens that, it pops up on the drive all the time, and it drives us absolutely insane. And there's nothing we can do about it.
Yes, my school just started that like end of last year or this year. I hate them. I hate them because then what will happen is I'll search like copy of, and you know what comes up? It's like copy of like senior night basketball program. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I look, it's like from the shared drive. I'm like, oh, yeah, no, I am with you. I hate shared drives. If I'm a department of 2, we teach in a self-contained trailer. It's just me and my coworker Shannon in a trailer together by ourselves across the parking lot from the main building and everybody else. Comments on that, it's for another live. But if I had a really big department, I would love to have a shared drive with like the Spanish department or the world languages department. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all the prom planning documents that I'm not involved with prom at all. I don't need those. So again, I like to just ignore the shared drives. But here's how you get rid of that. All right, I'm gonna leave. We're gonna get real inception-y again for a minute. I'm gonna show you how you get rid of that. I'm gonna go to my drive that actually has this. And okay, good. I gotta make sure this is actually showing up. So within your drive, I hadn't planned to do this, but you know, when I get going, I actually have to go. Also, here's what my Google Drive looks like. If you're like #gold, this is it. I don't even have a scroll bar along the side. That's my Google Drive. But if you search copy of, let's see what comes up. It's gonna spin for a while. Okay, the internet's struggling and I have zero patience.
Don't tell me nothing is gonna come up.
No, stuff is gonna come up. So right now I can see I have a couple things here from students that from this year, like I don't need those. I would just delete those. But once I start coming down, like you said, I have shared drives and I have all this stuff. Oh, here we go. Copy of school JPEG. Owner, photos. Like what? Oh yeah, so all of these, copy of blah, 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 from photos, the shared drive. That does not help me. That is sucking the energy and life out of me because it's covering what I really need to see. And it's making me think I have thousands of files I need to deal with. I do not have thousands of files I need to deal with. My shared drive people have thousands of files they need to deal with. So in the search, click this little arrow, owner, anyone. If you click owned by me, it will show you just files that you own. So then I can deal with just my own files. I don't need to deal with other people. Or you can do not owned by me. And that's actually helpful if you have a lot of stuff that students have shared with you. Mm-hmm. Then you can kind of like go through and like, you know, your students' names. You can be like, okay, I don't need, you know, so-and-so's homework, delete. Or you can search for a specific person who's the owner. So I will type in my admin's email here at like the end of every quarter and delete like the 30 copy ofs that I have. Fun tip, you can also search by type if you're looking for a doc or a PDF. Like if you are the kind of person you are still having to really search for your files, you can really narrow down your search. Date modified has the words. There's a lot of stuff you can really sort of do here that's helpful. While I am here, here's that gear I was talking about and settings and view items taking up storage. That's what it's called. You click view items taking up storage and now it sorts. My biggest thing, these are, again, it starts out as videos, then it's some giant PDFs and videos. So that's how you do that. All right, sidetracked because I'm a geek. I really love organizing and I can get real deep and geeky into all of this. Now, let's say you're like, Lisa, this all sounds great, but you talking about deleting files is giving me anxiety. I'm terrified and I'm not ready to do that. That is okay. You don't have to delete anything. But if you're scared to do that, at least move them out of your current working space. And so you can do that. I call it just archiving things. And now I have to go back out to my Google Drive to show you what I really mean. In my Google Drive, you'll see this folder. It says archived files and backups. These are things that I don't need right now, like the novel, I think it's Desde la Montaña al Valle, or I can't remember. It's about Felipe Alou, baseball player. I taught that novel, but I don't plan on teaching it anytime again soon, but I might, so I'm holding on to it. I have backups. I don't teach Spanish 2 right now, but look, here's all my Spanish 2 materials, because I'm not obviously going to delete, 8 years of my work building a program, but I am going to just archive it because I don't need them right now. So if deleting files terrifies you, make a folder called archives or old files or stuff I might need someday, whatever you want to call it, and move stuff into that folder. Then it's not in your working space, but you still have it. And I can get deeper with that strategy. There's like a lot more to it.
I think,
but
it's got to be.
what?
I said it's great because it's got to be psychological too. I know a lot of things I don't let go of because I'm always thinking, oh, I'm going to need that at some point. But I think it's great to create a folder and be like, okay, there it is. Because teachers are like the worst at parting from files and papers.
We are, because so many of them are things we've made or things we poured a lot of time into. And I don't want to get rid of that. I worked really hard on that. And I talked with somebody on Instagram in one of my Instagram lives over these last couple of weeks about it is files. We have emotional connections to them, which we don't always realize that. But we have emotional connections to physical things we don't want to get rid of. But we also have emotional attachments to files and digital stuff too. It can be really hard to let things go. And I have an organizing course and I dive a lot deeper into that. Like if you're the person that's terrified to delete stuff, I have a lot of strategies and we kind of work through that and talk through that. But if you're not ready, just archive it. Just move it into a folder and then it's there if you need it. There you go. Okay, that was a lot for deleting files, but I'm a minimalist. It's like my favorite thing to do. The second thing I do every year is I consolidate my files. And what I mean by that is I move all the files. The key thing is the files you need. I also delete a lot of files while I'm doing this. It kind of goes hand in hand. But I will consolidate. I'll move files that I need. I'll move them out of my downloads folder because we all know it's a black hole. Stuff will get buried. It will go there and disappear, never be seen again. So I will pull stuff out of my downloads folder. I'll pull stuff out of my email if I've emailed it to myself, or if Bertha said, hey, I have this really great SEL slide deck. I'm going to email it to you. Awesome, thanks. I will make sure I save that out of my email and save it where it should go. And the other place then is my computer desktop. I will temporarily store things on my computer desktop. And every now and then I need to clean that out and move them where they actually need to go. I think those are really the three main areas that we tend to get rid of things or tend to kind of temporarily store things. And the nice thing about moving stuff off of your computer desktop are the downloads. If you move it into Google Drive or OneDrive or Dropbox, some sort of cloud storage, then you have access to it whenever you need it. So you can deal with that, at home or wherever sometime, where if it's on your school computer desktop and you're like, oh shoot, I really wanted to look at that thing I downloaded about that novel, but it's on my desktop at school and I'm not driving up to my school in the middle of July just to move a file. So at least move them all to one place where you can access them and deal with them. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Okay, then the third thing is prepping for next year. I hate this. I don't like doing this because I'm tired, but like Bertha mentioned, it's the thing that future you will be like, good job, past me. Thank you. And I actually like to, when I say prepping for next year, I mean cleaning up your areas, just like I said, deleting, consolidating, renaming, and also cleaning up files, renaming files, and then filing the files, putting them in the folders they should go into. I do that for the last unit that I taught, the last unit or units that I taught. And the reason being is they're really fresh in my mind. I can tell you, like, one of the last things I taught was the novel Las Sombras by A.C. Quintero. I can tell you right now, like, every resource I used for that novel. But if I go back to like the beginning of the year, one of my starting ones is A Cocinar. It's about cooking and commands and stuff like that. I can't tell you what the files are, what the file names are, because it's been a long time since I looked at them. So when I'm prepping for next year, I actually like to start with like the last units, because like I said, it's fresh in your mind, it's less mental energy, but also, how tired are you right now? Or in April, or in the beginnings of May? Now imagine it's next May and you get to like your last unit and everything is like clearly labeled, like it's just ready to go. There's like no prep work, no guesswork. It's beautiful, it's pristine, and you're like, oh, thank you, past me, because I'm too tired to like really try and do stuff right now. And so that I honestly do that at the end of every unit. When I finish teaching a unit, I go back and I look at all the files. What did I like that I'll use again? Keep it. What was a total bust? And I know I'm not going to use it, or I'm not even going to try to fix it up. It is gone and deleted. I rename things if I need to, and I make my subfolders and I get it categorized. I do that after each unit I teach while it's fresh in my head. And of course, prep your first unit for next year. I hate doing this.
Oh, let's talk about that. That is one of my.
I didn't do it. I hate it. I hate it.
That is one of my duties that my admins decided it was on our best interest for all teachers in my building to go ahead and have their first unit in the learning management system posted for before we leave this Friday.
Mm-hmm.
But
who wants to do that?
Nobody has this. Nobody has. I don't know. I don't have the brain for it. But you know what?
That's just it. You don't have the brain for it because it takes so much mental energy to like, you're finishing up the year. Now you gotta like totally reset. That is a lot of like, that's a lot of cognitive load right there. That's a lot of work that we just do not have the mental energy for right now. We physiologically don't have it.
But
yeah, I hate doing it.
But I hate to admit that I know that's gonna help so much.
Yep. Yes. Like that's why I'm just like freaking like prep your next, like do it because you'll be so happy. I hate doing it. And usually I kind of do like a so-so job of it. Like I'm like, oh yeah, here's my course expectations. Here's like my first unit handout with stuff. Like here's my review story, whatever. And I always end up changing it. Like every year I change things a lot because, and especially like this past year and this coming year, I do not want to do that. Me neither.
Last year I had my last week with my kids and I was all kinds of lively, having fun with them, enjoying the last weeks of school activity, which if you haven't gone to my blog, go visit my blog because I blog about activities for the last week of school. That's my latest blog post. And I had an amazing time with them. I was full of energy. And then this week, like Grace is saying, no mental energy, like zero whatsoever. But I do realize this, or myself in late July is going to thank me so much for doing this.
Yes, that is the thing. Like future, you will be so happy. So I tend to do like kind of a bad job of it in May, but come about like July 4th is the date for me. Like July 4th, something flips in me mentally where I'm like, okay, it's time to start prepping for the next school year. Because I am a prepper, I'm a planner. That's just what I do. And I have to go back August 2nd this year, and kids start on August 9th. So I generally wait till like, I'll do stuff like, oh yeah, I prepped my unit, it's there. And then in July is when I actually do it. But I at least try to set up some sort of a framework, try to find some of the files or like type up like a skeleton plan for the first few days, and then go back to it after I've rested. But really going from like the end of the year to the first unit. And this year, my first unit in Spanish 3, my first couple units were Spanish 2 units because we lost time in spring of 2020. My coworker didn't get through everything because we went 100% online. We kept teaching. We kept doing new instruction.
I'm just wondering.
Obviously,
I'm just wondering. You know.
What would you say, Bertha?
I said, I'm just wondering who got through everything last year.
No, so like the first, like I said, like my first 2, 3, maybe 4 units of Spanish 3 were Spanish 2 stuff. And, you know, and so it's a trickle down effect. Like we're still behind, whatever, you know, we didn't get through as much as we have historically. And so I kind of have to touch base with my coworker and be like, okay, what'd you get through and how much time? And also I feel like when you get a new batch of kids, I really have to assess where they are. Like my Spanish 3 kids generally come in and like Spanish 2, we hit the past tense preterite really hard. Like they know it. They can conjugate it, they can recognize it, they can use it to like narrate and tell stories. Was not the case with my Spanish 3 kids this year. So I had to really adjust early on in the year. So like my normal like first couple units were out the window. And I really think you just have to adjust a lot. So prep your first unit as much as you can.
As much as you may think you dread it, just do it. Just do it.
Future you will be so happy.
Yeah.
Present you will get through it, but future you'll be happy. All right. Email is not my favorite thing to talk about. Mirna, I just saw your comment. Last year was a nightmare. Yes, it was. Email is really not my favorite thing to talk about, but I get asked about it a lot. And again, like I am super organized. I'm very much like process things right away and get rid of it or file it. So I'm really glad you can't all like throw rotten produce at me. Like I don't struggle with email. My inbox doesn't have like 8,000 unread messages. Like it just doesn't. I could not function under that. It just doesn't work for me. But email, folders are your friends. I think in Gmail, they're really called labels, but they are totally your friend. Not everything has to live in your inbox. You can move it off into other folders. And I talked with Bertha about this probably about a year ago, maybe even longer. I don't even know when we had this chat, Bertha, but we talked about email a while ago.
It was a little bit less than a year ago, and you helped me get to inbox 0 with all of my emails.
Love it.
And
like, just makes me feel better.
And there was, now I'm no longer inbox 0.
No. I don't think anybody is this year.
However, I would say that you gave me an amazing tip, and that's probably what you're going to say now. So I'm just going to hand it back to you.
Okay, maybe. If it's not, let me know. And I will say that whole like inbox 0, I feel like it gets thrown around a lot. Like inbox 0, if you don't know, is your inbox literally has nothing in it. And it's like, no messages here, hooray, or something like that. I'm not an inbox 0 kind of person. That stresses me out. Like I need to see something there. It's a weird balance. But I'm not an inbox 0 where there's nothing there, but I am an inbox 0 unread. Like I have read everything in there. I don't have, you know, that little red button that says like 800 unread emails. Like, no, I have read all of them. I've looked at all of them. I've processed all of them. And I'll talk about what I mean in processing in a minute. Here's the other thing. So if you have a ton of emails and I'm laughing at Esther says my email is scarier than my Google Drive. Love it. If you have a ton of emails and you're like, Lisa, I am that person. I have 8,000 unread emails. There is no hope for me. Of course there is. Like it's fine. So it's a marathon. It is not a sprint. Nobody wants to sit down and read through 100 emails in one sitting. Nope. So I like to say, you know, go through 10 files at a time. And or 10 emails. It says files. You can tell I'm more of a file person. 10 emails at a time and move them, delete them, respond, do what you need to do. Or set a timer and for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes and go through it. Oh gosh, I read a book and I'm going to have to figure out which book it was because it was a good book. And it was about email. And I can't remember the author, whoever it was. I think it was either the author or someone the author was helping. It was someone the author was helping. Had a ton of unread emails. And they said, okay, I'm going to pretend it's Bertha. Okay, Bertha, here's what you're going to do today. Or like, here's what you're going to do tomorrow, actually. What's tomorrow? Thursday? Here's what you're going to do. Tomorrow on Thursday, you are going to deal with all the emails you get tomorrow on Thursday. You're going to respond to them, file them, delete them. And then you're going to respond to all of the emails you got yesterday. So all of Wednesday's emails. You're going to go through all of Wednesday's emails. That's it. On Friday, you're going to deal with all of Friday's emails. Like as you get them before the day is over, you're going to get through all Friday's emails and you're going to get through all of Tuesday's emails. And you just backtrack down that inbox one day at a time. You stay on top of today's emails and then you take it out one day at a time. And you're like, that's going to take forever. Like, yeah, maybe. But you know what? Once you get going, that momentum and that satisfaction, that habit loop forms, that like those like happy hormones like dopamine and stuff start, and what's the oxytocin. I always get mixed up with like oxytocin and oxycontin. One is a naturally occurring happy like chemical your brain produces. The other one's a highly addictive like opioid, I think. So whichever one is not the drug, like the pharmaceutical drug. You get hits of those happy drugs that reinforce this. So maybe instead of just processing one previous day, you do 2 previous days. Or maybe like a couple of those previous days, there's like 3 that don't have very much. So you do 3 days. And before you know it, you've gone through all your old emails and you're on top of all your current emails. The other thing with email, if you go back far enough and you hit emails from like 2017, you'll probably just delete those. You probably don't need emails from 2017 and 2021 or, whatever the cutoff is. So go through it little by little. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Oh, there we go. Do you need emails from 2 years ago? Probably not. And also like really happy, nice emails. Then you store those in like the happy folder, the feel good folder. I think Bertha's, is yours the sunshine folder?
I call it the sunshine folder, and I have one in hard copy from notes from kids who gave me, and I also have one on email because I get a lot of messages from kids during random times. But so I have both.
Yes, love it. Is that all I'm saying? Oh, I have more to say about email. Oh, who knew? Then get into your habits for next year. So, you have to just start with your good habits. So as soon as you read an email, process it. And by process, I mean either delete it, unsubscribe if it's something like a company sending you stuff and you're like, you don't care anymore. Delete it, unsubscribe it, or respond to it and or file it away in the folders. So get into the habit of doing this. Now, you don't have to do it as they roll in, but maybe at the end of the day, you take, 10 minutes or, for the first like 5 minutes of your prep period, you do email, like whenever that happens to be. But get into the good habits for next year. That's it. That's all I'm going to talk about tonight. So if you want more organizing goodness, there's where you can find me. I spend a lot of time on Instagram. If you go to my Instagram.
Yes, totally follow Lisa on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, we are kind of like, I'm still going to serve this Facebook community and I'm still going to show up because I absolutely love connecting with you guys. And I realize that many people are not on Instagram. But if you want to get some more laughs, you definitely follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's like we can show more of our personality in there.
So it's a lot easier to do like quick videos. And I did not love Instagram at first. I had to Google like how to do an Instagram story, how to write a caption on Instagram stories. I had to Google so much. I had no clue. And now I have to like set a timer to limit my Instagram time because I love it.
Yeah. So with that being said, Lisa, can you tell us about tell us a little bit about your course? If you need more help with organizing and you want like, okay, I need an intervention, Lisa is totally your girl. She can help you with that. And I know a lot of people have benefited. I don't think we have any people in here, but I know Rebecca is one of those people who always like, she's like, I don't know, talk to Lisa. She's the expert. And I know this because she's helped me cut down on clutter. And I know she helped my friend Claudia Elliott a lot as well with organizing and AC Quintero. Like Lisa is just amazing at what she does. So if you're like, I am sick and tired of this mess that I have in my hard drive and my Google Drive, Lisa, you got several options and several opportunities for people to work with, correct?
I do. I've got options. I have to tell a Claudia story real quick though. because I've been working with Claudia on some stuff, and she's got an amazing Growing with Proficiency Academy that she does. And I've been working with her kind of behind the scenes on some things like that, just like back end tech stuff. And she goes, Lisa, look at my Google Drive. She showed me like where she does monthly resources for her members. And I don't think Claudia's Google Drive was a bit of a mess. I don't think she'll mind me saying that. But for her academy, she had a folder for the academy, and it said monthly resources, and then it was like June resources, and then all of her files were super strategically named with like, and I was just like, oh, I was so proud of her. And we were on a Zoom call, like, Claudia, I'm so proud of you. She goes, I know, me too. Like it was just so great. And like me, not even knowing anything about her academy, her resources, I knew what everything was. Like a stranger could have navigated this because she had it so well organized. I loved it. Rebecca, thank you. Still a mess. Hey, and Rebecca's in Organize Without Overwhelm. And the second round of live coaching kicks off on June 6th. Yeah, I think June 6th or 7th. I don't even know what day it is anymore. I'm going to check because I don't want to say this wrong. June 6th, Monday, June 6th. The Facebook group, I know, Rebecca, I know you know it's open because I've seen you in there. But new live coaching, and it's there. So anyways.
Okay. I know you have to go because you have to be somewhere else. But can you tell us a little bit about your end of the year file cleanup?
Yes.
And what that is, because that is actually a free opportunity for people to join you, correct?
Yes. So I'll pull that link. I have it somewhere. So the end of the year file cleanup. I did one back in January, and okay, it's that. Hopefully that's going to link. Maybe it won't. It was in January. It was the one weekend file cleanup, and that was really like, hey, there it goes. Get your files. Like it was just over the weekend. Like we're going to clean up your files in about like an hour. It's not going to take forever. This one focuses more on a lot about what I talked about tonight. It's more geared towards like the end of the year. It's a free video series. You get a video a day sent to your email, and I walk you through like, hey, here's why this is good. Here's how to do it. Now just like set a timer for just 10 minutes and like focus and go do it. And you'll be amazed at the progress that you make. And so there's 4 days of video with that. So it's 4 days, one video a day of like simple little tasks that are manageable. None of them are like, sit down for 2 hours and do all of these. Like, no, because A, that's terrible. I don't even want to do that. B, nobody has the energy for that. We've established that. And so I dropped that link in the comments. It's totally free. You can join there. If you want more of a deep dive, you can reach out to me. I have a whole course called Organize Without Overwhelm, where I dive into helping you get set up with a system that works for you. And I also do one-on-one work. If you're like, please just help me, I also do some one-on-one consulting as well. So, all right, I'm going to try and stop sharing my screen, hopefully. I think I did. Now I'm stuck in, now I've lost you, Bertha. There you are. All right. So
definitely Lisa's dropped her link in there. You can follow Lisa on Instagram if you want to follow her in there.
Yeah, or just come follow me on Instagram. I have a bunch of reels, like 15 to 30-second videos. They're like, here's some helpful hips. I can't even talk. And I have to do a whole nother Zoom after this, guys. Help me. Helpful tips in reels, and I share stuff in stories. I've been doing a lot of Instagram lives lately with people, helping them with their stuff. There's a lot of practical tips in there. So head to Instagram, and there's a ton of free content over there.
We have a party 24/7 on Instagram.
Yeah, I know. And part of the problem is that it's like 24/7 because, yeah.
It certainly feels like it sometimes. So
yeah, it really does. It really is fun. Yeah, it's weird, and we kind of talked about this yesterday. Like all my internet friends that I've never actually met in real life, but like I know so well because we talk so much.
Right. I talked about like we need to do like a tour and go visit people. I have people in Nashville I need to visit. I have people in where is it? I have people in Houston that I need to visit.
Maine, North Nebraska.
Teachers from Maine who've been telling me you need to come to Maine. I would love to go eat some seafood in Maine. I love seafood.
Bertha, so the other day I was like, gosh, you know, it'd be so fun if all of like these internet teachers we hang out with, if we all got together somewhere and like shared ideas and activities and stuff and then like hung out. I'm like, oh wait, that's called a conference. A conference. I'm just like, oh. So someday when conferences are in person again, I'm really looking forward to meeting some people in person.
Well, Skull 2022 will be.
I just got that email in Virginia, right?
Yeah.
I know. I saw that and I'm like, okay, I'm from Nebraska, so I'm not in the Southern Conference, but all the Central Conference is like Chicago in February. Nobody wants to go to Chicago in February. It's cold. So
well,
my former coworker and I started going to Skolt because
if you
it's
want to come to, well, if you want something closer by, if you guys, everybody who's listening, want to join me, Claudia Elliott and Meredith White, we are all three of us going to be in Jacksonville in October, face-to-face conference. So
what?
It's a beautiful Sunshine State.
I am so in. Send me the info because like I'm in. I don't even need any more details. Just give me the date and the time and I'm there.
Definitely. We look forward to that. We look forward to that. All right,
I'm gonna go hang out with Meredith actually. I'm gonna go hang out with Meredith and Bethany Drew. And I don't know if Kelly Ferguson's gonna make it or not. She didn't know if she could make it tonight. So I'm gonna go hang out with them on Zoom to talk about Go Formative. So
geek out about Go Formative. Yes.
I know. I'm gonna go get excited about that. So yeah. But
okay,
thank you so much, Bertha, for letting me come and talk and be over enthusiastic about organizing. And if this was like a lot to you, oh my gosh, I'm like holding myself back. This is like barely the tip of the iceberg, but I'm just like, it's the end of the year. And
so useful, so helpful. Thank you so much. I hope that our listeners tonight, definitely, even if it's just one or two things.
Yeah, that's really all you need to start. Because I was not always organized. My first few years of teaching, I should tell the origin story. It was not good. I did a lot of dumb stuff, a lot of stupid stuff that it took me then years to like refine and get cleaned up. So, you know, I wasn't always like this.
Alrighty. Well, I'm going to be posting. Yes, this is recorded and you will have access to this. Someone just asked if this is recorded. So this will be published in here as well. And then I'm also going to be posting the information about the conference in Florida in October. So I am excited for that. That's going to be in person. And yes, definitely go follow Lisa on Instagram and then get on her end of the year cleanup. That's going to help you have some major wins. And check out her course if you're like, I just want to, I want to make sure that everything's clean and tidy for next year as far as my files go. Totally worth it.
Or, if you have questions, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can find me on Facebook too. And shoot me a message if you've got questions. I would love to chat because I'm talkative.
Alrighty, Lisa. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Okay.
Thanks, Bye.